Hello, you hardcores out there. How you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's Corner, the biggest gob in sport. We say the things on here that nobody dare say. We're just waiting for Richard, my pal from Rotherham, to log in. It's uh, it's all good stuff. He should be joining us any second. Uh, Okie dokie. Hot today, innit? Hard work that this morning in this weather, but what can you do? We've got a soldier on, haven't we? If you want to look the business. Uh, we're going to copy. So we're going to cover some exciting topics. Uh, it's all good stuff. Uh, Hopefully, we're going to talk about Luke Campbell. Was he the mayor of Hull or something? He's a politician now, isn't he, or something? Pretty clean cut. So good luck to him. Uh, hey, hey, hey! I do know the name and I do know the face. How you doing, Richard? Are you there? Earth calling Richard. Well, it's been one of them good mornings, hasn't it? Tech issues constantly.
There's no tech issues. You've got to give time for the link to come through and then copy and paste link into a browser because you're still using fucking Zoom.
Are you still using Zoom?
No, you are.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're on, isn't it? Zoom.
Yeah, you should be using Teams now. Zoom's obsolete.
Is it? Ah, well, I can't. What it is with me, Richard, I'm old school. I don't like change.
Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. Can you see me now, bud?
Now all I can see is bottom of a rabbit such. Oh, there you go, kid. Pop, pop, bang. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
I'm all right. What have you been up to?
I've been off for a couple of weeks. Got another week off. So I've just been chilling out, catching up with some friends and family, and
That's boat.
all right, yeah. I'll be down on it next week. Oh, I'm doing second day training next week on it.
What? Popeye the
So
Sailor Man.
yeah, so after that, you get certified to
Drive it.
be an helmsman and blah blah blah, and then
That is called an
VHF radio
helmsman.
course. Yeah, helmsman course, and then VHF radio course because you got a license for that,
How hard
and
can
then
it be?
you
Because you're only doing like 2 or 3 miles an hour, aren't you?
yeah. But when you go on rivers like the Trent, it's tidal,
Ah, right, right. I'm with you.
so you got to understand stuff like that and how to make sure that you can moor up safely when there's tides and winds and blah blah. It's little tips. 90% of people don't bother doing it, and they manage all right. They manage okay, but better to pay a couple hundred, 300, whatever it is, few hundred quid, and make sure that you understand everything, and then you're doubly okay, aren't you? But 90% of people get a boat, go out on it without any training, and they never have a problem.
Do you have an anchor on it and that?
Yeah,
Is it as big as that one I had on my chain? Yeah, I know it was bigger than that,
I
wasn't it,
don't
kid?
think I've seen an anchor as big as that.
No wonder I got kidnapped.
It's another
uh,
story.
no, no, yeah. Uh, Before we start, I just want to speak about Luke Campbell. It looks like he's mayor of Hull, is he? No?
Oh, is it? I don't know. I've not heard that.
Somebody's, oh, have a look. I'm sure Simon, who runs my Facebook, Porky's Corner Facebook, feel free to subscribe. I don't run it though. I don't bother doing any replies. Simon does. Luke Campbell, let's have a look. He's a British politician and former professional boxer who has served as the first mayor of Hull and East Yorkshire since the 6th of May last month. He competed as a boxer from 2013 as a pro to 21 and won the Commonwealth title. That's all he won him. Obviously, we know he married into money over there, so I don't know if he's got it through that, but he's a clean enough
I heard
cut.
he was running as a, was he running as a reform candidate, I think.
Something like that, but he's mayor of all now. But he's a pretty clean cut kid, and so I hope he does all right in it. Do you know what I mean? But if her family are steeped in it all, he could be setting up a Trump destiny, couldn't he? Or he could end up
Yeah.
like Sadiq Khan, knighted. What do you think to that
Yeah,
one?
you never know. You never know.
But
One thing that I've learned over the past 50 odd years is, what your mum and dad told you when you were a little kid, and your grandma and granddad told you before that, as regards everybody's in it for themselves. I just when you're 18 and 19 and you're full of hope and you're full of naivety, you think, no, these guys are trying to make things better. But the older you get, you just realise that they're paving their own path, aren't they?
yeah, yeah, and I'm surprised he's gone down that route. But like I said, if you're marrying into that kind of thing, or that's probably whatever floats your boat. Max had a win out there in Italy. He's now 4-1. Dennis is trying to make George Fox against Max. George Fox was 4-1. Uh, what do you think about
Um, set me up for a good one here, haven't you? Well, I've seen video footage, haven't I? So that bloke we fought now, he'll be able to go back to
that? Being a waiter.
yeah, he'll be able to go back to doing pantomime with Snow White, won't he? That lad. He'll be able to do that. And
Well,
Max, bless him,
yeah.
can get back on slim fast shape. And I'm not trying to be cruel. He looked like a totally out of shape, white collar, um, first time guy. And I'm not trying to be cruel. That's just how it looked.
Mm.
So, if you think any different, Max, I respect you for getting through ring ropes and having a go. And it takes someone doing that. So all respect for that. But, it is what it is. It is what it is. Don't try and. I don't think he's trying to kid us, but it's better off not trying to kid himself.
Yeah, my opinion on it is this, right? They're going to have to be careful with the Max with. I mean, I know he's got quite an high ranking now, hasn't he, in UK? But they'll have to be very, very careful. And if you're not giving yourself the best chance if you're carrying too much weight. Max is, you know yourself, you've met Max plenty up at my studio. Max is a powerful kid with a good jab, but he can't keep the pace up because of the weight, the work ethic, and I think he wants to do it. But if you're going home after you've been working in the day, and if Leona's cooking him big dinners, it's not good. Max's diet's wrong. I think the work ethic's there. I think his diet's wrong, and if you're getting him ring that big, I mean that guy beat. I'm not bragging here. That guy that Max beat, I would have flogged him quicker myself, and I'm 55 in a few months. I would have flogged him myself, Richard, quicker than Max. So I
Yeah.
don't know, but listen, if he's enjoying himself, good luck to him. But I don't want to see Max get hurt because he's a
Yeah, but
nice
enjoying
young
himself
looking.
doing what?
Being,
What's the enjoyment
being
out
a
of it? It'd be a
boxer, I
good
don't
question.
know. He obviously likes hanging around with Dennis and being a boxer, doesn't he? I don't
Yeah,
know.
but it'd be a good question to put to him. What do you enjoy about it? You obviously don't enjoy the training and the lifestyle, so you're
Yeah, he
not enjoying
enjoys being
that.
under the lights, doesn't he? A bit like Dave Allen, isn't it? I keep seeing Dave Allen on YouTube. I'm seeing a lot of YouTube videos. We know he don't train very hard. We know he eats a load of crap. He's talking a load of shit on YouTube now. He's going on about Usyk's camp, Dave Allen. Usyk trains all day as a Trojan. He eats the right food and he sleeps correctly. Now, Dave Allen should look at that and think, when I should be resting, not YouTubing. And when I eat, I should be eating proper food. And when I'm training, I should train like Usyk. You'd take things from that camp, wouldn't you? I remember Frotch saying to me, he went into Howard Eastman's camp in America. And when he fought Hopkins, he was chief sparring partner. He said he took a lot of things from Howard Eastman, how to be professional and things like that. Now, Howard Eastman would be a world middleweight champion today, wouldn't he? He got robbed in the Joppy fight, didn't he? He didn't in the Hopkins fight, but in the Joppy fight. Dave Allen's obviously not took something from that, so you're not giving yourself the best opportunity. And Max is the same, but on a lesser scale, isn't it? See where I'm coming from?
Yeah, on a much lesser scale. I mean, you can't. I know the reason you are comparing them because of their approach, but Dave Allen hasn't got an amateur pedigree. He's been with UK team. Dave Allen has had a win over former world champion in Lucas Brown. You can say what you want about that, but it's different
Yeah, I know
leagues.
that. Yeah,
I know you do. I know you do, mate. It's just that Max, like I say, it must be for get a little bit of reflected fame off YouTube or to call himself a professional boxer. It must be that, which is if that is the case, it's a bit of a sad state of affairs. You know, you need to be doing something else at 30 odd years of age. If it's because you like a fight, get yourself in shape and fight somebody who's a 50-50 fighter who's going to give you back what you're gonna dish out. You know what I mean? Otherwise, what is the point? There's no point. And it's the hardest game. It's the hardest game in the world, or one of the hardest games in the world, to be playing at it. He's just lucky that he's been in with who he's been in with. If he's in with a half decent journeyman who has decent standards of sparring in the gym, Max will get flogged and he could possibly get hurt, knocked out badly.
Yeah, I got a message here from Curtis Woodhouse. We will take that Max fight in a heartbeat. Adrian King against Max. Not a problem. We'll take that fight, Porky. So it is what it is. It looks like Curtis and Adrian King have parted ways with Big Ron, Dennis Hobson. So a bit of beef there, but I'm sure that Adrian and Max will get it on down the line if Max wants it, but they're saying they'll take it in a heartbeat. So Max, over to you and Big Ron. Get Adrian and King and Curtis on phone. Okay. Yui is fighting Michael Pirotten, box rec 140, in his 8th comeback fight in 6 years since he lost to Povetkin. They were going to give us a big name, we were told. Yeah, we've got a big one for Yui in June. What's happened here with this? Where's Yui going here? What's going on here? Are they frozen out because they don't get on with Tyson and Bricktop and all that? What's going on here?
I don't know about frozen out. I think that we talked about a little bit about this on the last video. You is in that camp where it's too dangerous to be just anybody just to take it at the drop of an hat.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's pricing himself out because he's fought at an high level. But the fact remains, like I said last time, he's in the process of having to fight his way back into contention and put himself in a position where he can't be ignored, and that could be a long road.
Well, if you're fighting guys like that, I mean, this is his 8th comeback fight. I mean, how many comeback fights do you need? Coming back from what? I mean, Yui said he was going to make a statement, didn't he? What sort of statement we're talking here? Fucking police statement.
Like you said, it's 8 fights over 6 years. So, like I said last time, when he's strung 5 or 6 fights together without getting injured, I'll show more of an interest. Hopefully, he does. Like to see him string 5 or 6 fights together without getting injured, and then see if he can put himself in there. But he's got to make it appealing for opponents at an higher level. Somebody's not going to look at Yui and think, well, that's an easy night's work, because it's not.
No, it ain't. No.
Also, they're not going to want to fight him for chicken feet. They're not going to want to do that.
No.
And if your top contender boys, they can just swerve him if they want to, because he doesn't sell tickets, and he doesn't bring a lot to the party, and he's a dangerous fighter, so they can get on and make their own path. Put it this way: if somebody said to Fabio Wardley, right, we fancy Yui Fury as your next opponent, right? Now Wardley is on paper, not just on paper, he's number one he's interim champion with WBA. He's on an ascendancy in his career. But they said, right, we want you to fight Yui, and your purse is going to be 400 grand. What do you think Wardley would say? He'd say, do one. It's too much. It's too much of a dangerous opponent. It's too much of a boxer versus fighter.
Make him look bad, you mean?
Yeah. What would be point? The only chance that Yui's got against fighting somebody like that and getting back into the mix, he's got, like I say, he's got to fight his way back into top contention, become British champion. It's not going to be lucrative. It's not going to pay him a lot of money. He might even be losing on training camps to get him to that situation. But I can't see another way, Russ. He's not a marquee name, is he?
Well, Turkey's come out and he said he don't want no more Tom and Jerry fights. He wants to see people getting put on button moon. So that's Yui even further down pecking order, isn't it? With Saudis.
He's got to make it so he can't be ignored, and that's going to be down to, like every fighter, it's going to be just down to him.
Yeah.
So if he can get in a position where he can't be ignored, that fight will eventually come.
Okay.
And even when Dillian White were in that situation, when he were number one contender apparently for how many years or whatever, when he were highly ranked in all the organisations, even though he didn't get a world title fight, he were fighting big money, high profile fights, wasn't he?
And Parker,
Pay per views.
Chisora, and guys like that, wasn't
Yeah, Povetkin, one a few fighters were fighting and getting paid during COVID. So, I'm sure he wants to win stuff, but it's mostly about money and setting yourself up with a good life. So he's got to put himself in a position where he can't be ignored, and that's going to be down to him.
he? Yeah. Okay. Rankings at the moment. Akola is the top WBC guy. Atoma, the top WBO guy. These are ranked number one. Only after 12 fights, but that's Bricktop's belt in it. Wardley, WBA, top guy number one. Chisora, IBF, top guy number two, but number one's not rated, so technically he's number one. Fury's not ranked in any of them governing bodies, but he's number one with Ring Magazine. Do you think that's because Fury likes to tell people he's retired and then they can't test him for doping or potential doping or even so much as bother him?
No, I think it's because, well, it's a couple of reasons. Number one, he's got a very good relationship with Turkey, and Turkey owns the Ring magazine,
Yeah.
for one. Number two, the Ring magazine has a history in my opinion, of being more accurate with its rankings, being more realistic. Number two, so that's continue. And number three, it's out of sight, out of mind. If a fighter's not publishing or promoting that particular organisation, they don't want anything to do with you, do they? You're
No.
just out of it. You know the difference in rankings. You have clearly people who are number two and number three historically in the divisions. You can see who the champion is, and more or less everybody you would agree on who the top three are underneath that champion. But then you go to another organisation and they're not even ranked. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. Okay, we'll come back to heavyweights in a minute. Canelo Crawford on Netflix, Dana White, more or less making out he got his fingers burnt in the Times Square show with that with Haney in them. It was a bit of a stinker on it, the old show. Canelo Crawford on Netflix. If you've got Netflix, it's free. I've got Crawford to beat Canelo. I think the timing's perfect. What do you make of that fight and who you got?
Yeah, I would say that just like you, the timing is perfect, and the weight drain for Canelo, I think, is a. I'm not saying he's a natural light heavyweight at all. I don't think he is, but I think that it's more of a struggle. He's not the youngest guy anymore. He's had a lot of hard fights, and I think Crawford just edges it. I think Crawford's naturally more talented. I'm not saying Canelo's not a talented guy. He doesn't have to. I don't have to talk about his CV. He's up there he's among the elites. He has been for a long time, and I think Crawford just edges it.
I think it's a mini Manny Pacquiao and Oscar De La Hoya, mate. And everybody picked Oscar. Oh, it kept going on about size and this and that. Well, look, this is the same sort of carry on. Right fight at the right time. And I think Canelo's there to be plucked. That's what I think.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Plucked like me in this heat today, running in here with a weighted vest.
Oh mate, I didn't run, but I had to jog to fridge for one of these. It nearly killed me.
Swear to God, mate, honestly, I was running through Streetly this morning with that kettlebell thing in this thing here, and I swear to God. Do you know what? We're only 5 kilo, Richard, but do you know what? I felt it. So I was down about 18 minutes on my time, mate. It really drained me to, do you know what I mean? I'm on about really drained me. I was just
Oh, good.
shattered.
That's good. That's how to do it. You want to give Max some tips?
Right. It's what I should have been doing 20 odd years ago, isn't it? Instead of in my mid 50s. Yeah, Max. Yeah,
Yeah.
Max. Weighted vest. You got to get out there, and if you stop, just keep walking and then go again once you get going. And you pick yourself up, you keep going. Keep out of that fish and chip shop, Max. Okay. We've spoke about Turkey wanting knockouts. Do you agree with that? Can he dictate what happened to fighters wanting to hit and not get hit and get on the bike? Do you think some of them have took it to extreme? Do you think Turkey, because he's paying the money, he's going to dictate?
everybody is watching. No, 90% of people watch boxing to see action, and a proportion of those 90% do appreciate a good boxer, but they go for the action. So Turkey's the money person. It's like somebody owning football or another sport. They're putting the money up. They can dictate it because they've got the money. If it weren't for him, we'd still be in the same situation as we were 5 years ago, where Bricktop and Earn couldn't make fights. People weren't fighting each other. They couldn't agree for whatever reason because they were trying to get investments back. And Turkey's cut all through all that and said, right, how much money do you expect to make off that guy over the next 2 years, Eddie? X amount. Right, we'll pay you that now for one fight. I want to see it. Job done. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's been refreshing, and I think it's cut through a lot of BS. There's only so many fighters in the world. We might come on to this later, but I'm going to ask you about what you think about where Sky's going in all this.
Next question, mate. It's on next question.
Well,
Adrian Mowell out at Sky. What will Sky do now? Where does this leave Horsecock and Co? Because Horsecock's all of a sudden he's coming out bigging up all things Eddie Hills, whereas for 4 years they've been sticking it to Eddie, but now all of a sudden Horsecock's not sticking it to Eddie. What's going on here? Does it look like Hills is back in the mix?
Well, I think Sky is potentially going to go the same way as HBO. It's a cycle. And Sky will have looked at it. Sky aren't in it for fun. They're in it to get returns back. And if there's somebody coming in like Turkey dominating what gets done and what fights get made, everybody else has to pick up the crumbs. All the other broadcasters either have to pay through the nose for the rights to show it, or they've got to pick up the crumbs of the other shows that nobody's or people are less interested in. If they can't compete and make money out of their model, they'll withdraw. That's just natural business sense. That's just life. It's a cycle. And we said this before. Turkey might be at the top of that cycle for the next year. It might be the top of the cycle for the next 30 years, like Sky have been, or a part of that's at the top of the pyramid for the last 30 years. They'll choose as and when they want to exit boxing. Everybody else is just going to be old news, and they'll either have to pay for the rights, like people like TalkSport, and terrestrial TVs pay for highlights, like they've done over the years, because that's the model that works for them. Sky look like they're going the same way as HBO. They might get the odd massive fight where they're willing to pay through the nose, where they'll get some advertising revenue, and they hope to claw a bit back. But they're not going to sink millions and millions into boxing if they're not getting that revenue back. And I heard on YouTube, and I've not researched it, I heard they paid Adrian Mole 36 million for exclusivity when he signed a few years ago. Have they put 36 million pounds worth of shows on?
No.
And got that back? Has Sky got that investment back? Because they will look to invest 36 million if they're working just on a 10% model. They've got to have got 40 million back minimum, and I'm sure they work on more than a 10% model. So let's say it's 20% return on their investment. They want 7 million back off that, so they're going to get 40 million back for that 36 million, or 42 million back for that investment, and it's tight. So just like anybody else, you if you're going to invest more money, you want some return. So I think that they've not frozen themselves out. They've just decided that it's not worth it for them. And where are all the commentators that used to commentate and be a part of HBO now? You don't see them, do you? And that's what will happen to the Sky team. One or two might be picked up.
Okay. Big one here now. Fury versus AJ. People are saying it's in talks. I've heard of two people now. There's back and forward. I've heard Tyson Fury believes that he's worth a bigger split than AJ because he hasn't been beat as much, and he's saying he's achieved more, and AJ's on the slide. AJ's saying he's injured, but he's coming back at end of year. Well, his mouthpiece Eddie Hills is saying. if AJ doesn't fight Fury next and Fury doesn't fight AJ, where do they go them two now? Because I believe that they need each other more than ever now. I don't wonder what your thoughts were on it, Richard.
Yeah, they do need each other more than ever if they just want to generate money. They're not fighting for belts. I think if they're squabbling over an extra 2 or 3% or 5% either way, what's the point in getting interested in it? They don't. It's not a life or death for them. It's 45% of a lot is better than 0% of nothing, isn't it? So I just don't get
Yours.
it. They both
Yeah.
don't need it to be financially secure. If they want to bank another bit of money, I get that, and I'd be interested in the fight just from a. I'd like to see it out of curiosity more than anything else, just to see how the styles match up. But I don't want to. I won't start chasing it down on YouTube and seeing how it progressing regarding. I don't have any interest in that element to it because I just think, well, why are you arguing over 5% or who gets called first on the poster and stuff like that? It's beyond that. They're not fighting for any belts. You're fighting for money. You're fighting because it's a big draw. Just uh, just be sensible about it and get on with it. Other than that, it's all nonsense.
AJ's last world title win were an old man in Pulev 5 years ago. So he's been on the slide a long time. Eddie keeps coming out, bigging him up, blah de blah. I mean, it were best thing since sliced bread after he beat Ngannou, who were having his second boxing match. So I don't buy into all that. I think he's a shot fighter. I saw Frotcher's video where he said he's finished, and then I've just seen one just now. Eddie Hills on Boxing Social absolutely slaughtering Carl Froch. So I'm assuming by that slaughtering by Eddie that Froch ain't going to get back on at the zone and he ain't going to get his Joshua drink for introducing them together, Eddie and Joshua, because he looked like Joshua going to go with Bricktop, didn't he, after the Olympics? And Froch obviously played his part in it, getting Eddie in with him. Uh, where does Froch go now and where's Joshua and Eddie go? It's all getting a bit silly, isn't it now, really? Do you think?
Yeah, where does Frotch? I don't know where Frotch goes. I think Frotch just does what he's been doing. I mean, he's got I don't know how many subscribers now. That's going to generate a level of income for him. I'm sure which is just keeping him happy, and he gets sponsorship. He gets to talk a bit, which he likes doing about a sport that he loves.
Yeah.
Um, so he might be happy enough doing that. Is it his main income? Probably not. I don't know him. You do. I can only guess, but he gets to do that. I do watch some of it. Sometimes, I was disappointed with like everybody else with the Ben interview. Not just disappointed, I was just a bit bemused by it. But he'll just keep doing what he's doing. I think if he really wanted to push for more money, he would be more vocal in doing it. So he should be all right, I'd imagine. Otherwise, he'd be more vocal in trying to get Darren Till on a Misfits show or trying to get Jake Paul on some sort of boxing show. I think if he were desperate for cash, he'd be doing that sort of thing. And he doesn't seem to be. He seems to be doing the opposite. So whether he's bothered about going on his own, I'm not sure, mate. But I don't think he'll get an invite. Uh,
No,
as for as for as for Joshua, he has been on the decline. He's still a good-looking guy with a great physique who draws sponsorship. So he's got the opportunity to earn a lot more money for a few more years. We know that he loves money because he's expressed his fears about losing it all, Mike Tyson style and Evander Holyfield style. So he just wants to keep banking it. And there's a lot to be said for that. And there's a lot to be said for trying to keep himself in shape and just not going the Conor McGregor route, which is just living on a yacht, smoking weed, drinking champagne and his forged lager stuff till it's coming out of his ears. There's something to said for keeping that discipline, but he's got to realise what level he's at, and he's got to realise what he's got to do to keep in the limelight. And like I said, if that's taking 5% less than he would ideally like to have 45% or 40% of a lot, he should do that, and so should Fury, to be honest.
yeah, well, getting back to Froch, he's 48 next month and he says he's coming back, but I don't see that. I think it's just clickbait for views. I was disappointed with the Turkey interview. He never put it on him about the national anthem at Wembley. Ben Whittaker interview, he never asked him what he said he was going to do. The Crusher Ben one did it for me. That was it for me. We waited all them years for that, didn't we? The Crusher Ben interview, and we like rolled over and had his belly tickle. So that left a problem for me in my head. Right, Moses Atome, Dillian White. Talksport are saying they're feeding Dylan White to the Sharks. Does it happen? And who have you got, Richard?
Well, my gut says Moses will do what he's been doing to most people. Probably not, maybe not as quickly, but he will. I think it's a good fight for Moses because Gillian White isn't what he was,
Yeah.
but he is a decent gatekeeper for the next level. And I think if he splattered Dillian, that would absolutely send a message or reinforce the message that everybody seems to be believing in at the moment. And I'm one of them. I've not seen anything yet apart from his level of opponents that leads me to believe he's not the real deal. I'm not saying he's Usyk standard yet, but he's got bags and bags of potential, and everybody's saying the same thing. So I think he splatters Dillian.
Mm.
But then again, if Dillian manages to pull out a win and old man's him and is able to use his experience, it then puts Dillian in a good position. But I think all credit to Dillian for taking that fight rather than the other way around myself.
Yeah, but whereas we'll see if it happens because Dillian's has been known to. Well, he's had four issues in combat sports, three in boxing, one in K1 with drug testing, and he's had injuries and he's pulled out before. So I personally don't think it happens. I think he pulls out. But we're going to see, aren't we? But another good fight. David Adelaide against Filip Hrgovic. That's not a bad fight, is it?
No, it's a good fight. And again, on paper, that is a big step up for Adelaide.
Massive step up in it. Massive Olympic
So
bronze
it's a
medal.
massive step up. So massive credit to him. How many fights is it since he lost to Wardley? Has he had two or three since then?
Yeah, he's only had a couple, a few, hasn't he, since then.
Would,
Yeah.
and I know Ergovic isn't what he was or what we believed either, but he's still on paper and he looks like a lot better fighter. Do we think it's a step too far for Adelaide to
No, he's
to
got the
to
power. I've seen him spar close up. He has got the power to trouble anybody. I've seen him spar loads of rounds with Yui, and I just think that he's very explosive. But them sort of guys, they don't have a long shelf life, do they? Your explosive guys, like your Davy Days and your Mike Tysons, they tend to burn out very quickly. So he could burn out at any time, Adelaide, with that style he's got. But he's very
Well,
explosive and
you
entertaining. I
are
like
right,
him.
mate. You are right. But the two examples that you just picked there aren't the best examples for living the best life outside the ring, are they?
No, Davy Day. No, Davy Day could kick. Davy Day liked a night out, and I think Mike Tyson liked good weekends out, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, if I look like David A and they're a multimillionaire, I'd imagine I'd have been doing the same thing. So,
You do anyway, Richard. You're a bit of a Lothario, aren't you, in Rotherham?
no, mate, no, I'm an happily married, settled down, middle-aged,
Geezer.
semi-retired businessman.
Okay. The Saudis, they tried to take over football, but it looks like it's backfired, doesn't it? But they're doing all right with boxing, aren't they? But boxing's not a governed sport like football, is it? Do you know where I'm coming from?
Yeah, but I don't think that model's dead. I still think that with the World Cup and everything else that's coming, I think they're still gonna. That's a long-term investment. What will we judge? How will we judge it? The only way we can judge whether they've been successful is if an African nation, or sorry, if a Saudi nation wins a major international championship, or they win a major club championship. That's when we'll judge it by being a success. At the moment, they started to attract former great players at the end of the career. Now they're attracting players that aren't at the end of the career from a money. I think that from a money perspective, that will continue. We've talked about this before, mate. They're on a different league. It's a sea of money. It's not something that's going to run out. They're not going to all of a sudden say, "Oh, we've done as cobblers on football now. We're going to have to bail out. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. If anybody thinks that, get that out of your head. If they want to come out of something, it's not that they can't afford it. It's because it doesn't fit with some other strategy. It's not from a money perspective.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, Christopher Eubank Senior, aka English. He's talking comebacks, pushing 59-year-old. What do you make of that, Richard?
Sad. It's sad. I'm not sure whether he's any worse than he were when he were fighting as regards his approach to things. I kind of think that he is. I kind of think with a lot of boxers, he took a lot of hammer, didn't he, in his career? If you
Yeah.
think about both Ben fights, if you think about Watson fight, if you think about the Calzaghe fight, if you think about the Collins fight, if you think about when he moved up and fought Leeds lad, what's his name, Carl Thompson,
Yeah.
he took a lot of hammer. And I think that has got, when he's in his 50s, it's got to take its toll on you. No matter what, it's proven, it's a scientific fact. So I think it's sad to see, and I think that it has taken a toll on him, and somebody needs to look at him and medically assess whether he's fit to go in any sort of sport, never mind come back any sort of boxing comeback. I think it's just talk. Again, I've only read bits and bobs about him. I don't think he's struggling to pay his gas bill, but he's also not enjoying the same sort of lifestyle that he did when he was at his peak. And I think he craves that. He likes that limelight, and he likes to have a lot of money in his pocket, so he'll try anything to get some money.
Yeah. Okay. We'll finish off on this then. Adam Azim's opponent, Elliot Chavez, were pulled off by the British Boxing Board of Control the Barnes this show with just hours to go. Uh,
Lucky guy. I have to buy an handbag to get that.
yeah, and they said, well, they'd heard that rumours that he'd been in a sauna in fight week, even though he'd made all the check weights. They'd heard a rumour from the Mexican Boxing Board of Control, or whatever they're called, Mexican Commission. So they decided to say safety first. But what about the Eubank Ben situation? There were no safety first for that, were there? You know,
No, and it's always a case of um, the profile of the fighter and the profile of the fight and who's involved with the money side of it. And that was never going to be a problem regarding Eubank and Ben and other fights that they've had to drain. How many times did Naz have to drain down? Nobody even spoke about it.
do you know if it had
It's
been a
just
Queensbury fighter, Richard, or a Matchroom fighter, would they have done that so close to the fighters?
no.
Well, people basically on the way to arena when they did it. So would that have happened to a Bricktop fighter or Eddie Hills fighter? It wouldn't have done, would it? They wouldn't have done it.
I'd be very surprised. It would have to be something that, listen, look at what happened in the first, before Eubank and Ben actually fought, between Eddie Hearn and old sniffer, what's his name?
Callum.
Eubank's promoter, Callum. They were trying everything to keep that
What
quiet.
about the Lee Purdy fight with
In my
Darren
opinion,
Alexander? They didn't do nothing about that when Eddie said, "Yeah, well, I've been sat in sauna with him all day yesterday."
yeah.
What about all that? What happened there? They didn't do no.
Listen,
They
mate.
did Eddie a small fine at Robert Smith. So it's
Yeah,
horses for courses. They've done it to chop Ben Shalom's legs off, in my opinion.
his legs look like they have been chopped off. But he
Well,
said,
he's done it himself, and he's only done 4 shows. So how do you
yeah,
get a Sky exclusive after 4 shows? And Carl Greaves were holding his hand on 2 of them.
yeah. Well, it'll be interesting because he says there's a major announcement to come.
Well,
I
he's
don't
leaving
know.
boxing. Good riddance.
Well, it's supposed to be a broadcaster, so we'll see. So I can only think that he's going to get some shows on the zone, and they said, well, he has got some fighters. We're going to give him a little bit because who else is there? Who else is there?
I don't know, but this is how I look at it. Ben Whittaker or Ben Whittaker sticking it on Callum Simpson, saying, "I'll knock you out, punch you up, and I'll take your missus." Well, step down to 168 then, Ben. Don't be bullying super middleweights when you're a big light heavy. Step down if you're that keen to fight him. We're out of time, kid. We've got here 1 minute left. Quick thoughts on Fabio Wardley. Richard, does he excite you?
I like him. As I said before, it's a great story.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just don't know. I can't, unless everybody else in top 5 or 6 leave the sport. I can't see how he wins a world title unless they can manoeuvre somebody else to a vacant belt, and
yeah.
he's fighting somebody who he's got a chance of winning. I don't think he can beat the top guys as much as I'd like to see him do well.
Okay. Well, that's it, mate. Listen, hope you're well. Have a great Friday, what's left of it. And good luck on Father's Day on Sunday. All right, have a great day, you and your family, and you and your missus.
You too, mate. You
All right,
too.
love you,
Good
mate.
talking to you.
Keep in touch,
See you later,
pal.
mate. Cheers, mate.
Cheers,
See you later.
Richard. Bye.
Bye bye.
All that with Richard, my pal from Rotherham. Women love him, men want to play golf with him. That's about it, really. That's me done for today. I'm going to be on the source now, and that's it till Monday. I'm trying a few different training sessions next week on Monday. No alcohol for a week, and no this, no that, no blah blah. I just want to mix it up a little bit and push me son. No what else to do, is there? Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. That's about it, really. Go on, peace out. Pop, pop, bang.